I'm going to show you some more double stop ideas, and this is going to be probably a little easier than the previous lesson. It's going to tie right back into what we did in lesson 2. We had the C minor pentatonic scale. Diagram 3 shows this, color-coded so you saw the high side and the low side of the scale. When we did lesson 2, we stayed on adjacent strings and played high-high, low-low, high-high, low-low, etc., etc. So guess what we're going to do here? We're going to skip a string. It simply means you're staying on the high side of the scale and playing every other string. So you got a hybrid pick. I mean, you could strum it, but hybrid picking works out a little better. And then you just move that down through the scale. If you've come this far in this group of lessons, I think you'll be able to grab that idea quite quickly. And then guess where we're going to take it? If we used every other string, why not open up the interval even more? And this is when it gets really cool. Let's use the first and fourth strings as our initial model. Then we move each note down through the scale. And these start to sound a bit ambiguous. You may not like the sound of that, but now we get to one of my favorites. Power chords sound great, don't they? And if you look at power chords, they're a root and a fifth structure. Now, Eric Johnson uses these, what I'm going to show you. And they stand up really well with overdrive, and they're big sounding, okay? This is probably my favorite idea in this entire course. When you play, for example, the 5 and the 1 together, you're playing every other note of the C minor pentatonic scale. Remember, we talked about that. If you're staying on one side of the scale on adjacent strings, it's every other note. We're going to use that as our model. So the bass player is pumping the C. We've heard these ZZ Top licks where you're sliding these intervals of perfect fourths. You got one major third interval, but the point is they're big. Why? Because root and fifth. Well, I want to open this up. So all I have to do is simply take the notes and move them some different ways. Here I have, for example, the G and the C. I'm just going to take this G and raise it an octave. And what do I have? I've got a perfect fifth interval. But wait a minute, we just did that, right? Well, we're going to flip it the other way. If I play the G and the C together, and I raise the C an octave, it's huge sounding. It almost sounds like you're using some sort of pedal for a bass line, and it's harmonizing below the note you're playing. So the way to perceive this is you're going to be playing and encompassing 4 strings. You'll be playing the low side of the lower string, the high side of the higher string, and you have to see your C minor pentatonic scales. So here we have the C and the F together. Normally you'd see it as a double stop, and it would occur on the high side of that 6-string root pentatonic. You simply see your octave of the upper voice and play them together. And your index finger is going to dampen the middle strings, and you're dampening those strings. And you can see that if you see the 6-string root C minor pentatonic scale and the 4th-string root C minor pentatonic scale, you can clearly see what you're doing. Then the same thing occurs over on the 2nd and 5th strings. Then the interval changes. So you might finger some different ways. Now imagine what would happen if the bass player is playing a low C with a 5 or 6-string bass. He's got this super low C. Then you play this G and this C together. You got a big power chord, really heavy sounding. And then you can move up. And you can move to some other areas in the scale. So those are some more double stop ideas. And all it amounted to was, remember I said, we're in this C minor pentatonic scale. You can mix and match the notes any way you want. So I encourage you to do that. Have some fun with this.